The president recently signed an executive order requiring electronic payments for federal benefits, and yes, this includes Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, and RRB benefits. I've been seeing a lot of questions popping up in the comments section asking, what does this mean? Is this true? And the answer is yes, it is very real. This executive order was signed and is already having a significant impact on how these payments are distributed. Today, I want to break it down for you, explain exactly what it means, and address some of the questions you may have about your monthly benefits or other federal payments. First off, this is not just about convenience. The executive order was issued as a way to streamline payments, ensure timely delivery, and reduce costs. Think about it. Sending paper checks through the mail takes time, costs the government more, and in some cases can even be intercepted or delayed. Electronic payments, whether through direct deposit into your bank account or other verified electronic accounts, are immediate and much more secure. That's the basic idea behind this new system. Now, if you're someone receiving Social Security retirement benefits, SSDI, SSI, or even VA payments, this is directly relevant to you. It's important to understand that all paper checks for federal benefits are being phased out unless there's a very specific, substantial reason for needing a paper payment. So, if you were still receiving paper checks before, by now, you should have transitioned to electronic payments. If you haven't, it's crucial to reach out to the respective agencies, Social Security Administration, Veterans Affairs, or RRB, to ensure your account is set up properly for direct deposit. For context, this executive order was signed in March of last year, 2025, but it officially went into effect on October 1st, 2025. That means for a few months now, electronic payments have been the standard, and any remaining paper checks are being handled on a case-by-case basis. The idea here is twofold. First, to save the federal government money. Each electronic transaction costs just a few cents, while paper checks are significantly more expensive. And second, to make sure people get their payments faster and more securely. Many people have asked, does this affect my tax refunds? Yes, absolutely. If you normally receive a paper tax refund, that is no longer an option for most people. The IRS will deposit refunds directly into your bank account. And honestly, this is better in many ways. Direct deposit is faster, reduces the risk of lost or delayed checks, and ensures you get your money as soon as possible. So, if you haven't updated your banking information with the IRS, Social Security, or any other federal agency, now is the time. Another point worth mentioning is that while this change may feel sudden to some, it's really been in the works for a while. The transition to electronic payments has been discussed for years, but this executive order made it official. The goal is to modernize the federal payment system, making it safer, faster, and more cost-effective. It also reflects a broader trend toward digitization across all government services, which we'll likely see continue in the coming years. So what does this mean for you personally if you're receiving federal benefits? First, check your bank account to make sure you're set up for direct deposit. If you're not, contact the agency administering your benefits immediately. Missing out on this step could result in delays or missed payments, which nobody wants, especially for essential benefits like Social Security or VA payments. And remember, this isn't just a minor detail. These are payments that many people rely on every month for their basic living expenses. It's also worth noting that the transition has been largely smooth for most people, but there are exceptions. For example, some recipients may not have bank accounts or may have special circumstances that require continued paper payments. In those cases, agencies will work with you individually to ensure you still receive your benefits. But for the vast majority of people, electronic payments are now standard. For those of you on Medicare or with questions about coverage, now is also a good time to check your benefits. Some of the agencies involved in administering electronic payments can also assist with Medicare questions or help you make sure your coverage is set up correctly. Many people have called organizations like Chapter, who provide free assistance with Medicare enrollment and help make sure you are maximizing your benefits. It's 100% free, and thousands of people have already saved significant amounts by getting guidance from these services. Back to the executive order itself, one of the interesting things about it is that it was partially driven by cost considerations. Sending millions of paper checks every month is expensive. It's not just the cost of the paper and printing, but the postage, processing, and administrative work involved. By switching to electronic payments, the government saves millions of dollars annually, which is better for taxpayers overall. And at the same time, it makes payments more secure and less prone to fraud or loss. You might be wondering, how does this impact people who were used to getting checks in the mail? Well, the short answer is that the system has changed, and adjustments are necessary. For many, this will be faster and easier. No more waiting days or weeks for a check to arrive, no more trips to the bank to deposit it, and no more concerns about it getting lost in the mail. Instead, payments will go directly into your bank account on schedule. If you're someone who still prefers a paper check, you'll need to provide a strong reason to continue receiving one, and agencies are handling those requests very selectively. Another important aspect of this transition is communication. Agencies have been notifying recipients about the change for months, but if you missed the announcements or didn't act on them, now is the time to check. Make sure your contact information is up to date with Social Security, VA, or the RRB, and ensure your bank account information is accurate. This will prevent delays and ensure you receive your payments without interruption. For those of you who may have questions about your SSI benefits, SSDI, or survivor benefits, this executive order applies across the board. The only difference is how your payments are deposited. The benefits themselves are unchanged. You will still receive the same amount you are entitled to each month. It's just the method of delivery that has changed. Some people have asked whether this change affects spousal benefits or other dependent payments. The answer is yes, it does. Any federal payment that previously could have been issued as a paper check will now be sent electronically. That includes spousal, survivor, and dependent benefits. The goal is consistency across all federal payments and to ensure everyone is receiving their money safely and efficiently. It's also worth pointing out that this change has broader implications for the federal government's financial systems. By moving to electronic payments, agencies can track transactions more effectively, reduce errors, and respond quickly to issues. It also allows for better transparency and auditing, which is important for accountability and public trust. For those of you who file taxes, this executive order reinforces the importance of choosing direct deposit for your refunds. Paper refunds are no longer the norm, and attempting to request one may result in delays. Direct deposit is safer, faster, and aligns with the government's new policies. If you have any concerns about your bank information, double-check it with the IRS or your financial institution to make sure everything is correct. Some people may still worry about privacy or security with electronic payments. It's understandable, but the federal government has strong safeguards in place. Payments go through secure systems, and encryption protects your information. In many ways, electronic payments are actually more secure than paper checks, which can be lost, stolen, or tampered with in transit. If you are someone who has been receiving VA benefits, this change is also significant. The VA has been moving toward electronic payments for years, but the executive order now makes it mandatory for all recipients, unless there is a very specific reason to continue paper checks. This will ensure that veterans receive their benefits consistently and without unnecessary delays. Looking at the bigger picture, this executive order is part of a larger trend toward digitization in government services. We are seeing more agencies adopting electronic systems, whether it's for payments, communications, or records management. This transition will likely continue in the coming years, making services more efficient, reducing costs, and improving access for citizens. For those who are used to traditional methods, the change may feel abrupt, but the benefits are clear. Faster payments, reduced risk of loss, and cost savings for the government are all positive outcomes. If you encounter any issues during this transition, don't panic. Agencies are aware of the challenges and are working to resolve them promptly. It's also a good reminder to review your personal finances and make sure your bank information is accurate. Any errors could result in delayed payments, which is something we all want to avoid. Take the time now to verify your accounts, especially if you have multiple benefits coming from different agencies. For SSI recipients, the process is similar. Electronic payments are standard, and there is usually a small transition period if you were previously receiving paper checks. The important thing is to stay in contact with your administering agency and ensure that all information is current. For SSDI beneficiaries, this change is particularly helpful. Payments are now consistent, predictable, and secure. You don't have to worry about checks being delayed or lost in the mail, which can be a significant concern when relying on monthly benefits. As we move further into 2026, more people will experience the benefits of this executive order firsthand. For many, this will be a seamless process, and they may not even notice the change except for the faster delivery of funds. For others who are less familiar with electronic banking, it's an opportunity to learn and adapt, which will have long-term benefits for financial management and security. It's also important to understand that this order applies to all federal payments, not just Social Security or VA benefits. This includes tax refunds, RRB payments, and any other federal disbursements that could previously have been made via paper checks. The consistency across all payments is a key feature of the policy, ensuring that everyone is treated the same way and reducing administrative confusion. Some people have asked whether this change will affect payment amounts or eligibility. The answer is no. Your benefits remain the same. The executive order only changes the method of delivery. If you were entitled to a certain amount, you will still receive that full amount, just electronically. Another common question is what happens if you don't have a bank account? In those cases, agencies may work with you to establish an account or find a secure alternative. The goal is to make sure everyone still receives their benefits without disruption. Overall, this executive order represents a significant modernization of federal payment systems. It's about efficiency, security, and cost savings, and it impacts millions of Americans receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB, and other federal payments. The transition may require some adjustments, but ultimately, it benefits both recipients and the government by making payments faster, safer, and more reliable. If you have any concerns about your benefits, now is the time to verify your information and ensure that electronic payments are set up correctly. Agencies are prepared to assist, and many have resources available to help with this transition. It's also worth mentioning that this move aligns with broader trends in digital finance, including the use of direct deposit for payroll, electronic transfers, and online financial management. Moving away from paper checks is part of a long-term strategy to improve financial systems, reduce fraud, and make transactions more convenient for everyone. For recipients of federal benefits, the key takeaway is simple. Check your account information. Make sure your payments are set up for electronic deposit, and stay in contact with the administering agency if you have questions. This will ensure that you continue receiving your benefits without interruption and take full advantage of the faster, safer electronic payment system. Finally, remember that while change can be challenging, the benefits of electronic payments far outweigh the drawbacks. Faster access to funds, reduced risk of lost payments, and improved security are all advantages that make this transition worthwhile. Take the time to review your accounts, verify your information, and embrace the new system. And as always, for anyone on Medicare or needing assistance with their coverage, organizations like Chapter are available to provide free guidance. Thousands of people have already benefited from their services, saving money and ensuring they have the right coverage. Even though this executive order primarily impacts federal payments, it's a good reminder to stay proactive about all aspects of your financial and healthcare planning. In summary, the President's executive order requiring electronic payments for federal benefits is real, already in effect, and affects millions of Americans. It modernizes payment systems, saves money, reduces risk, and ensures that benefits are delivered quickly and securely. Whether you're receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, or RRB payments, make sure your account information is up to date and be prepared for the continued use of electronic payments as the standard moving forward.